Hi guys, and thank you for joining me today on my bonus video of my 12 days of Christmas. This is our project today. It's a cute little paper bag mini album, and I'm just going to quickly flick through it before we go move on with the tutorial. Okay, so I've managed to make extra pockets going down there, full length as well, and each page is made from one paper bag. And in each top end we have a top loading insert there for extra space for your photographs and journaling, and I've also made these little tags here as well. So each one has a pocket here. I'm just going to quickly go through each page for you. Okay, so I am going to say all the dimensions as I go along for all the paper that I cut for it. I wouldn't worry about writing it down. There's a link down below that will take you straight to the project on my website, and all the dimensions are down there along with plenty more photos of the actual album as well. So after you've watched this, I'd like you all to join me over on the website there, and you can just write it down. Okay, so let's get on with the tutorial. Okay, so we're going to start off with our pages first, and I'm using our Petite Cafe gift bags. Okay, so you'll need 6 of those, and I've prepped these 5 already, so I'm just going to go through with you on how to get them to that stage. We're going to trim our bags down to 6 inches. I'm going to get my big trimmer out for this, because there's a few layers to go through. You can use your normal paper trimmer, however it may take a few slides for it to actually go through. So let's just feed that through here. Okay, this has been my trusty paper trimmer for over 10 years now, and it chomps it really easily. Okay, so I've chomped it down to 6 inches, and all you have to do is lift this bit up here, and we're going to trim just a slither off that corner. So you have your press it down, and then we're going to trim just a slither off here. I'll show you how much I trim off. Again, you can use a craft knife for this, or go through a few times with your paper trimmer. Okay, so I've chopped off that much. Okay, so now we have a little pocket there, and we're going to glue that all down with Tombow. Okay, so just put a little bit of glue around there, press that down. Okay, now let's have a look closely inside here, and you'll see that due to the cutting we now have some extra flaps that we're going to have to glue down there, and also there's a funny bit here as well from the inside of the gusset of the bag here. When we line our pages, this bit's gonna cover that bit there, so we don't have to worry about these extra flaps at the moment. So we're just going to stick these 2 down. Don't need too much glue, because this isn't your typical PVA white school glue. It's a tacky glue, and it does set quite fast, so you don't have to be standing there for ages holding it down. And you don't need too much of it either, because it's a very strong glue. Okay, so we've got all that stuck down, and now we're going to take our 1-inch circle punch and find the centre just here. You can eyeball it, that's what I do. Press that down, and then we should have 6 of these now. Okay, so that's our bags prepped, and now we're going to go on to making our binding. Okay, so I have 3 pieces of paper here, well, 3 pieces of cardstock. I've chosen crumb cake for this because it matches with the rest of the papers that I'll be using today. And I'll give you the measurements. Okay, so this piece here is 6 inches long by 1 1/4. This one is 6 inches by 1 3/4, and this one is 6 inches by 2 1/4. Okay, so don't worry about writing everything down. I'm going to be giving you a few measurements today, but everything will be on my blog page for this project, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so we're going to get our scoreboard out now. Okay, so this binding system is the, I can't remember her name now. It was by Laura Dennison. It's the God, my mind's gone blank now. Let's just, while I think about it, let's just score these at 1 inch either side. So just turn and score. Okay, I've remembered now. It's Stack the Deck by Laura Dennison. You can also use the Kathy Orter binding system as well for this one. Just look her up on YouTube, you'll find it. Just type in Kathy Orter and you'll come up with her binding system there as well. So everything's searchable on YouTube. Oops. Okay, so basically on all of these I'm doing it 1/2 inch on both sides on all 3 pieces. This will give us 1/4 inch gap between all of our pages. Okay, so you're going to need your bone folder now for this. Good crease. The sun keeps coming in and out here, so it may get light and dark. It's a bit of a blustery day. It's quite nice when the sun comes out. Those nice blue skies and then grey clouds. Whoops. Okay. Last one. There we go. And as per my other videos, what I do is, if you've seen any of my other ones, we glue all these together, just like so. So I'm going to be using Tombow again. You can use our tear and tape, but I prefer the reliability of the extra glue. It's a lot stronger than any dry adhesive that you can get. And I've glued the wrong side, whoops. Away there. Let's write that down. Okay, good job I didn't use the tear and tape, wasn't it? Otherwise I'd have had to have got another piece out. Okay, so it's this one we put the glue on. Okay, and all we've got to do is line that up there. Just try and get it even on both sides, just like so, and then just turn it round and line it up there. Once you're happy with that, press it down flat and just make sure this side and this side are aligned as well, and then we do exactly the same on this. Use your bone folder just to press all that down. Okay. Let's get all of our flaps pointing upwards. Okay, so now we're going to use a dry adhesive, so I will be using the tear and tape. What we'll be doing is we'll be putting a strip of tape along each side on both sides, so each tab. So I'll quickly show you the first ones. so this is the binding system where our paper bags, the sides of our paper bags have gussets, and each paper bag is going to slot onto each flap. Okay, so once you've put all of the tape on each side, just go with your bone folder again and press those down, and I'll quickly show you here. We're going to have to taper our ends as well, and there's a funny bit here where it's very, very sloped in, so we're going to have to do that at a sharper angle. So I'm just going to grab my scissors. Okay, let's just pretend all of these are done. So the top half, the top section, we just do that, and on the bottom half, make sure we have our crease there. We go at a much steeper angle like that. And then when our bag slots on, it will fit in that gap perfectly, just like so. Okay, so I have one I've prepared already. So I've done that. I've taped each side. I've got my more pointy slants down here, and the other ones at the top there. So that's that. Okay, so now we're going to work on our papers. I'm using the Candy Cane Lane. Love this set. I'm just going to quickly show you all the papers that you get. I've cut these down to size already. So we've got this one with the nice gingerbread men and the stripes. Got 2 of those. I've cut 12 of these because there's 12 sides to our pages. Nice gingerbread houses. This is one of my favourites. This is like confetti, really small Christmas trees. I hope that can focus in. Not sure if that's focused or not. We've got some nice swirls there, candy canes, and then we have the same confetti in the lighter colour. Might be too busy for the camera to pick up. There we go, and the gingerbread houses again. Okay, I did make a little error. I cut these ones a bit too short, but that's not too important because we'll use these to back this side here. Okay, so I'm going to be using Tombow again, just because it gives me a little extra room. If I make an error, I can move it without ripping my pages. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, just like I mentioned before, the scissors might be better. Okay, so we have 2 sections here. You need to slide your paper on the outward, at the outward section, and it will cover this bit here. Okay, so I'll just quickly show you a couple of these pages, and then off camera I'll just carry on decorating, and then I'll come back. Okay, not a lot of Tombow glue, whoops, on that. You really don't need too much at all. You just slide that down into place. I'll give you the measurements for these pages. They are 5 3/4 by 3 1/8. Just press that down. And as you can see, it goes all the way down to the bottom. So we have a full size pocket there. Okay, and now I have these smaller page mats. These measure 3 1/8 by 2 1/8. I just want to find the other side to this. Here it is. I'm just going to stick that on there. That will cover this patch here. Now our bags are quite well made. If you use other paper bags, they may be a little off. That's the thing with paper bags. Their measurements aren't perfect, and you may just get a wonky line here and there. So you just have to compensate with your measurements just by double checking everything as you go along. But as I say, our paper bags are really quite neat and tidy and straight. Okay, so that down. And I think on the other side I'm going to use this one. So we're going to keep that plain here. Like I said, I've got 2 of each design, so I may be gluing this nice stripe down on one end, but on another page I'll have it facing up so we don't miss out on any lovely patterns. Don't worry if they don't line up properly over here, because we're going to go over it again with our 1/2 inch punch and just trim those down to do that. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video now and cover the rest of the album, sorry, the rest of the pages, and then I will see you in a few moments. Okay, so I've covered all of the pages now. Just quickly go and show you those. Can't wait for this to be finished and see how it looks. Okay, so using our 1 inch punch again, we're just going to put our tabs back in. Just do your best to line it up. Double check they're all good. Oops, no, do that one again. The sun's gone in now, so I can't see very well. There we go. Okay, get rid of all that rubbish. Okay, I've got some tabs here as well. These are for going inside here. Okay, these have been cut to fill the back side. The front side stops, if you can just see, the front pocket here slides only down to this mark here, but these have been cut to take the full length here. You could also cut some extra ones and have 2 in there, but for this video I've just cut those ones, so those slot inside there, and they're easy to pull out as well. Okay, so the measurements for these are 3 1/8 and 5 3/4, and I've cut 6 of those, and I've rounded the corners as well just so that they come in and out quite easily. Okay, so now we're going to make our outside cover. I'm going to be using real red cardstock again for that. There we go, got it all prepared. Okay, so I've used the cardboard backing that came with the papers. Yep. So as per in my other videos, I'm going to use my ruler, and we're going to have a 1/4 inch gap. So I'm just going to try and get this as central as possible, and I'll also give you the measurements for this. The covers are 6.5, so the whole lot is 6.5 tall, and the covers are 3.5 wide, and this is 6.5 by 1.5. I came to this measurement by measuring my binding, which is 1 1/4, and I added the 1/2 inch, sorry, the 1/4 inch, just for the extra gap. Okay, so we're going to glue these down. Tombow again. Use my ruler. To get that straight. Okay, and now we can do the covers. You can use tear and tape for this as well. Okay, so we have 1/4 inch gap there. It does look quite rather large gap to have, but this will make it easy for our book to open and close without getting tight around these bits here. That can cause our corners to tear. Okay, that's all on. Press it down now with the bone folder. Just going to grab my stylus from my scoring board. I'm just going to score all the way around the edges here. This will help our cover to wrap better. Okay, so that's that done. We're now going to use our tear and tape again. We're going to go around all of the edges around here and all of the edges around here, and we're going to do that before we trim, just like with hair. It's best to put the tape on first and then trim, and then we have the edge to edge tape. So quickly go around all of the edges. The sun's come out now, it's really bright. Just looking out the window, I can see some more dark clouds, so it'll get dark again soon. That's that one done, and then we're going to go around all the edges around here. This is the crucial part where we have to make sure that everything is stuck down really well, because we don't want our cover to start unwrapping. That's never good. Okay, so once we've done that, I'm going to go down with my bone folder now. I'm going to press down all the tape. This just makes sure it's stuck down to the paper really well, and it also makes it easier for us to take the backing off as well. Okay, so now we're ready to taper. You can always draw a line if you don't trust yourself, or if you're just starting off. Just going to lift this up so you can see. You can decide if you want how much of a gap you want, but there must be a gap here. If I draw a line, I can show you. There we go. There's a tiny little gap there. That will make sure when we wrap our paper round, there's no corners sticking out the ends. Okay, so I'm just going to go around and cut all the corners off now. we go, we're getting there. Now what we're going to do before we add the tombow is just to gently fold these upwards, just like that, just to help us when we do stick it down, just to help it curve round. Okay, more tombow just for the middle sections. I'm going to do the top and bottom first. Peel off your strips of paper, sorry, your tear and tape. And starting in the middle there, just curve it round and then press from the middle, go outwards like that. Do the same on the other side. It's actually easier to put it off once you've pointed it into a corner. Okay, same again. Okay, just here you can see it overlaps just there. And that will help us to wrap it round without the corners poking out the edges. Okay, so exactly the same. Actually, before I press that down, I missed out one stage. It's just poking these corners in, just flatten that overlap out. Just flatten it down and then it will curve round as we fold and be hidden, otherwise it might stick out. Okay, so then press that down. Again, repeat on the other side. More glue. Press the edges in. And press it round. There we go. Not done yet on this cover. Press it all down really well with your bone folder. We really want to help the memory of this, of the creases that we've made now, so it doesn't want to unwrap. Okay, so we've pressed all those down, and then we're going to take our bone folder again and go and flatten the edges like so, just to square them off. This also helps it to remember what it's supposed to be doing. Done. Okay, so I haven't measured yet because I hadn't made this when I was doing the prep work, so I'm just going to quickly measure up now. I'm going to use crumb cake, I think. Okay, so I'd like more or less 1/8 of an inch all the way round, so I'm going to cut that at, I'm going to write this down because last time I didn't write it down and I kept cutting it wrong. Okay, so we're going to go 8 3/4 by 6 1/4. Crumb cake. Paper trimmer. The sun's gone in again. Okay, so 8 3/4. 1/4. And yes, it fits. Right, let's get that glued down. Lots of glue here because the book's going to be opening and folding, and these points here will be the weakest points. Okay, so I've got my glue ready. And stick that down. There we go. Bone folder again. Okay, and there we have it. Now it's time to start the bending, because you have to be very gentle with this bit, so you just gently lift it up like that, just until a small crease appears, and then you can start easing it in with your bone folder. Don't press too hard here, because your bone folder might go through the paper or the cardstock, and then you'd have to start again. Not fun. Okay, as you can see here, look, it's starting to lift here, so this is why we have to make sure that it's glued down properly. Try and keep that at a right angle. Try not to go too far over that way, as your paper may crack here. Okay, as you can see, that 1/4 inch gap we made when we put our binding down, sorry, our spine down, was just enough there. Any smaller and it may have cracked. Okay, so do the same on the other side, lifting it up very gently. And there we go. And there we have. Okay, so we're ready to put on our binding now. As you can see, I've colour matched the inside cover with the binding so that it kind of just like disappears into the album. Okay, so we're going to be using Tombow again. And just try and place it right in the centre, trying to get an even space top and bottom and on each side. Using the Tombow will give you that little bit of extra time to position it how you want. That looks pretty straight to me. Bone folder again, press it down. Okay, and another thing you need to do with your binding is you need to work the flaps backwards and forwards like this. This will help the movement of your pages. So it's good just to press them this way, press them that way, just to get the flow going. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so we're ready to put our pages on now. Just got to decide what order we want them in. So I think I want this one to be my first one. I don't want two stripes too close together, so I'll put this one in, and then we have two stripes there. This one out. Double check how that flows. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, we're going to start with the back page. I'm going to turn these over that way, bring this down, take the back page. Okay, so make sure your book is the right way round. There we are. We have the long tapered edges at the bottom. Okay, so this is going to slip onto this flap here. And there is a thing to remember when you're doing this, is when you stick it down, make sure your page is flat down like this. If you stick it on in this position upright, that's all it'll ever do. It will just want to just rest in the upright position like so, and the pages won't turn very well. So it's best to slot it on and then stick it down, press down when it's flat. So I'm going to peel off the top, like the first one, like so. I'm only going to do one side at a time. Then we stop that on there. Wiggle it around, try not to press down too much. Okay, so we have our score line here, we need to be just off the score line, so there needs to be a small gap. And then just before you press it down, just make sure it's straight here and here. It's quite crucial, as this is the first page that you put down, it's quite crucial it has to be straight, because then it will make it easier adding all the other pages on. So press that down, turn it round, press that down this side. Okay, that's our first page. We're not completely finished with that yet, because we've got to remove this one. But this bit's the easy bit, because we've already done the hard work with the lining up. So pull that off and then press that down as well. There we go. Okay, second from last page. Remove your backing. This one should be a little easier because we can line it up with the previous page we put on. That went on a bit wonky. Start again. This does take a bit of practice, and you will get better at it the more you do it, so I wouldn't worry too much if you make a mess of it the first time. Okay, so I've lined top and bottom. I'm happy with the position. Press that down. There we go. Lift that one off. Press that down. There we go. Right, next page. Okay, this is the last one I'll show you, and then I'll pause it and then do the rest and then come back to you. Okay, so last one on this side, slot it on. Try not to get my head in the way here. There we go. Lift up the flap there, press it down. You can go all the way down to the bottom pointy end of your folder, bone folder. Press that down. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video now and then just finish off the last 3 pages. Okay, so I've put all the pages in. Let's quickly run through. Looks really nice and neat. So the majority of that's done now, so it's just the home run. Just grab the cards and then we'll put those in. I'm going to slot these in at the back. Doesn't want to go in. Just going to use my ruler. There we go. You can add holes on here as well and use some twine to help get them out. Be nice and decorative with that coming over the top of those as well. So get all these in. Okay, I haven't sealed these shut because it helps to get these in and out. Okay, so those are all in. And I've also made some tags as well. Got some taller ones, and I've done some different finishes with ribbons. Okay, so these will be perfect for sliding in our little pockets here. I'm just going to pop some of those in. I'll need to make some more. I'm using our 12, just like with the rest of the album, I'm taking the paper from the 12 by 12 real red cardstock from the seasonal catalogue, so I'm going to take it from a full sheet here. I'm going to trim it down to 2 inches. And the length of our tags, I've written it down, 5 inches tall and 4 inches tall. So I'm just going to cut this at 5 inches and then at 4 inches. And then I'm going to use, and reach it, our tag topper. This one's in the annual catalogue. Slide that in there, and then we have a tag. And there we go. Probably do every other one. It'd be nice to actually have some photos on here. And removable. You can also make some red cards as well. I've got a 3x3 from another project, but that should fit in okay as well. So then we haven't lost the top half as well. And we can add some little photos or journaling as well. So I'll just put that aside. Okay, so now for decoration. I'm going to be using the Cookie Cutter Christmas. Some little gingerbread men that I've done already. I've got a girl and a boy, so I just need to make one more girl. I've got everything more or less prepared here. Crumb cake. It's a photopolymer stamp, so I'm going to use my mat as well, my little foam mat. and I'm going to be using Tip Top Taupe. And cut that quite well. Okay, it's a bit blotchy at the moment, but it will dry. I'll just stamp it again so I can have the best of two. I think that one's the best one. Okay, I actually got the bundle. Here we are, it's on page 4 and 5. Actually no, it's not, it's on page 6. Okay, so I got the actual bundle here with the stamp set as well. So you save 10% on that, which is quite good. Okay, so we're just going to pop that down there. Line it up the best I can. Pop him down. Just going to cut a bow as well. There we go. Make a mess. Okay, I'm using all the colours from the paper pack. So it's real red and crumb grape. I'm not using early espresso because that's quite dark. I don't really fancy using that, so real red ink. Tap that down. Gonna have to sit down for this one. Just try and line that up the best you can. That'll do. And I've also got little buttons here as well. Just going to use the top one, a little dab there, and then we're going to go on the buttons and little gaps. There we go. Tiny bit of Tombow. There we have Girl Gingerbread. Girl Gingerbread Man. That doesn't sound right, but yeah, it's a girl. Gingerbread lady. Okay. As you can see, these have lightened as they've dried. So this is the one we've just done. So that's darker. That will dry out and it'll even into the cardstock, just like this one has. Okay, so I'm going to use these for decorations, and I've also taken from the papers these cute little gingerbread houses. I've just cut them out from here, and then I've backed them onto the red cardstock, the real red cardstock, and then I've trimmed them out again. Always use good scissors, otherwise you'll be getting really annoyed with doing a job like that. Okay, so I haven't fully decided where I'm going to be decorating yet. I'm just going to see how it goes. Okay, so I thought maybe the gingerbread lady can go on here. We can perhaps put one on each page. And then on, oh, that wouldn't go, but that would go. So we can alternate them. Okay, so I have 6 figures here, so I think we'll start off with the gingerbread house on here. So I'm going to use dimensionals for this. This is why we have the gaps along here, along each side, so that we can use 3-dimensional items. Press that on. Okay, there's a gingerbread lady. I'm just going to use 2 dimensionals for each one. Let's decide, do we use a house? I think we'll just use use a gingerbread man. That goes quite well, doesn't it? Matches everything. This is a really nice and quick and easy album. Once you've mastered how to get the binding on, it can come together really fast, so you could probably spend a good weekend doing this. A nice little project, last minute Christmas presents even. Okay, so I'm going to put the house on this one. So it's a girl next. This would also make a nice recipe book. You can write your recipes down on the cards and slot them in and have them in here as well. So that would be perfect to have out as your little Christmas recipe book. Last one, gingerbread man. There we go, last one. We'll stick him on there. There we go. I'm quite pleased with how that's turned out. Oops, that's come off. Well, it would help to take the backing off, wouldn't it? Okay, right. Whee! There, stuck on. Right. Okay, on with our covers now. I'm just going to quickly tidy up. I've made a bit of a mess, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I've got the cover mats done. I'll give you the measurements for those. Okay, so you need 2 of these, measuring 6 6/16 by 3 7/16. And the binding cover, that measures 6 6/16 by 1 5/8. Okay, so I'm going to glue these down. This is going to be my front, and we're going to have the stripes on the side and the snowflakes on the back. So we'll start from the back first and work our way forwards. Tombow. Do the binding next. Spine cover, should I say. Just making sure I was happy with my paper choices there. And before we stick this one down, I want to attach some ribbon. I'm using the stitched edge ribbon, which is also part of the collection. Okay, so I'm going to use fast fuse for this. So my plan is to have the ribbon going across like that. I've got a further 2 houses that I've done exactly the same to as what we have on the inside. So I'm going to pop those on like that. So I want the chimneys on the outside. I'll pop them on there. And I've also cut some cardstock out as well. So that's going to be there. I'm going to use a corner rounder as well, just to round those off. And then I'm going to take a sentiment from the Oh What Fun. That's from our annual catalogue. and I'm going to be using the Happy Christmas stamp here. Now I haven't decided which Christmas I'm going to use this for, so I'm going to add the year to this underneath at some point when I add my photographs. Okay, so let's get this all put together. Scissors, I'm just going to chop that there. Try and keep that straight. Okay, so we kind of want it just here. I'm going to run our fast fuse just along there. Going to get our ribbon, line it up on my grid, and then line this up on the grid as well, just so I know all the lines are straight. And then I'm going to fold it over. And there we go. Now for these, okay, so I'll probably end up gluing this one down and popping this one up on dimensionals. So Tombow is okay for this as well, for sticking on fabric. Press that down like so. Dimensionals on this one, I'm just going to put one on the top and the bottom. It's got dark again, that sun's gone in. Just going to pop that there. I sometimes use a mirror just to help with the lighting. That should improve it a little bit. Okay. Take the backing off. Pop that down. There we go. Okay, now on with our sentiment. We need a bigger block. Press down, and for the colour I'm going to be using Tip Top Taupe, just as we did with the gingerbread man and lady. Use my mat again, it's photopolymer. Okay, these measure 1.5 by 2.5. and the matting is 1 3/4 by 2 3/4, so I've staggered it up by 1/4 of an inch. And if I make a mistake, I'm just going to turn it over and try again. You press down quite firmly. Back to this. Corner around all the corners. If you don't have a corner rounder, they're always useful to have, so I would get one. However, if you already have the envelope punch board, you can use the corner rounder on the top section as well. So if you have that, then you may not need to go out and buy a separate one. Okay, so this, and where's my matting? Here it is. Don't know how it got over there. Okay, so put these on. Tombow, here it is. Use more dimensionals to pop that up. going to use 3. I was going to say 4, but I think 3 will do. I need to make room for my date, so I need to make sure I leave room for that. So I'm thinking maybe if I put that there, I can then put the date down here somewhere. Okay, and then we shall pop that on there. Tombow. Okay, wiggle that around. Press that down, and there we have it. I may add a bit of a bow or something like that, maybe to here. I'll probably use the Candy Cane Lane Baker's Twine, same as what I use for these tags here. Okay, so I'll probably have an experiment, and it'll appear on the photos that'll be on my website. There'll be loads of photos of this album on my website as well, along with all of the dimensions of how to make it. I'm just going to quickly flick through this again. Okay, and just to finish off today's tutorial, I just want to say thank you for joining me on the entire 12 days of Christmas, and I hope you enjoyed today's bonus. Just a quick overview of the top. Looks really neat and tidy. You can see there why we needed all the gaps, the extra large gaps there. And just before I go, I just want to say about filling your album with photos. Now these are the ones I've printed off on my home printer. They're not like top quality as in from the photo processing place, but my printer has an option where you can print off on an A4 sheet wallet sized card, so you get 9 on there, and my printer also does the index ones as well, so you can print them off really small. So for these albums, that's what I do, and I cut them out, and you can mat them with matching red cardstock that we've used, or whatever cardstock you're using for your album, and you can just pop them in the pockets like here, just in there. You can have like a whole bunch of photographs, and you can write on the back of them on the cardstock, or you can just stick them on here like so. They'd look really good matted in the red cardstock on here as well. So this is my poinsettia, and this is our Christmas pudding. So just fiddle around and see where they'd look best. So that would look good there. And also in here you can stick your photos in on there as well, and there'll be space for you to write all your journaling as well. So you could probably fit your entire Christmas in this album if you stack up your photos and mat them and pop them in here. Okay, so thank you very much everyone for joining me on this entire series. That's not it for Christmas for me. There will be some more tutorials coming out on other Christmas projects and Christmas gifts and things, so please do subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss out on those, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Thank you everyone.